Now we are going to see about process schedulers. Process schedulers help operating system in moving process from one state to another state. In the previous video, we saw there are several states of processes. So process keeps moving from one state to another state. So these process schedulers help in achieving that. So they are classified into three types: long-term scheduler, short-term scheduler, and medium-term scheduler. Now, long-term scheduler. Long-term scheduler, to summarize, basically helps in moving the process from new to ready state. It controls the degree of multiprogramming. We know what multiprogramming is. So it is basically number of processes present in RAM. So it should bring a good mix of IO bound and CPU bound processes. So IO bound process means mostly dependent on IO. CPU bound means mostly dependent on CPU. It should not completely bring CPU bound processes, neither it should bring completely IO bound processes. It should bring a good mix of IO bound and CPU bound processes so that resources can be utilized in the best manner and there is no wastage of CPU or IO. That means, suppose if it brings completely IO bound processes, then CPU remains idle. If it brings completely CPU bound processes, then this remains idle. So it should ideally bring a good mix of CPU bound and IO bound processes. That is the duty of long-term scheduler. Hence we say it controls degree of multiprogramming. Now short-term scheduler. Short-term scheduler helps in moving the process from ready to running state. So when we will say the process is in ready state, when it is loaded into RAM. Now after loading into RAM, as we saw in the previous videos, it will be assigned CPU and goes into running state. So short-term scheduler helps in that itself. So it also calls a dispatcher. Dispatcher, it is a process. It is useful for context switching. Context switching means saving a context of a process and loading the context of another process. So it assigns CPU to the process and thereby helping the process in moving from ready to running state. That is the duty of short-term scheduler. Now we will see about medium-term scheduler. In the previous videos, we saw two more states: suspend ready, suspend block. So those are involved here. It moves process from waiting state to suspend block state, and it may also resume from that state. Like it may, based on requirement, as we have said earlier, the processes may be moved to suspend block state. So from there it can get the process. If the process resumes, it may change state also. So this medium term scheduler helps in achieving that. When a process is in ready state, it may go to suspend ready state also. So in switching the state of the process from ready state to suspend ready state, it helps. So this is the duty of medium term scheduler. As we can see, it helps in this way. Here more switchings are happening, like process is loading from hard disk to RAM and process is going from RAM to hard disk. So from hard disk to RAM, suspend ready to ready state, RAM to hard disk, waiting state to suspend block state. These are examples. So this is the duty of medium term scheduler. I hope you understood all the three different kinds of schedulers through this video. Thank you.